ControlGlobal.com with another in the Control ARC monthly podcast series. Every month, we look at the issues raised in the cover story in Control with the insights of ARC's analysts. For this month, April 2013, the topic is how IT-based technologies and methods are helping improve process automation and control. With me today is Peter Reynolds, ARC's Process Industries Senior Consultant. His area of expertise is process optimization with advanced applications for refining and chemicals. Peter, thanks for talking to us again today.
Well, thanks very much, Jim.
So first off, is IT and data center technologies, are they finally being accepted on the plant floor? And, where and why is this all happening?
Well, good question. So we think that there's a lot of things that are driving change. Manufacturers are being forced, new competition, globalization, supply chains are changing, and we know that the IT technologies are well proven and reliable and low cost compared to the systems that we had from yesteryears. So because of globalization, and we know that owner-operators are continuing to drive out costs, and safety is becoming an ever important issue today. So we know that IT innovation happens in many cases in other industries. So while heavy process industries tend to be a little bit more cautious, we know that many of these owner-operators want to look outside and what's happening in the world to decide whether or not it's appropriate for their plant. So we also know that expectations of technology are different as well. So how we use technology today in our daily lives influences how we work. So just very quickly, I just want to talk about some major drivers that ARC is seeing. We think that a combination of cloud-based services, ubiquitous internet, consumer devices, and a new emerging tech-savvy workforce are having an effect on what's happening in the workplace today. We know that in many of our writings we talk about 2013 being the era of the connected device. Nowadays there's over 10 billion Wi-Fi connections and 50 billion connected devices we expect by 2020. 5 billion smartphone and internet users worldwide. So we know that all of this technology plays an enormous role and an opportunity to help a manufacturing facility.
Well, like you said, the most visible examples of IT on the plant floor are tablet PCs and smartphones, but it seems like thin client devices and virtualized servers could have an even bigger impact for the process industries. Well, what are you seeing at ARC?
Well, certainly some of the things that you see first and foremost are the tools of the trade, and we're seeing more and more mobile type devices like smartphones. But behind the scenes, there's certainly a lot going on as well. So, and I think you're right. When virtualization and thin clients are moving very quickly into the manufacturing workspace. So we know that when it comes to plant automation, there really is just a handful of service providers in this space. And we know that most, if not all, of the automation suppliers have got services of various degrees to help owner-operators manage technology at the plant level. So we're seeing virtualization is improvements with cybersecurity. We're seeing legacy extension for older operator systems that are running on OS2 and NT, where sometimes owner-operators can't justify to upgrade to the most current system. We know that virtualization is used for disaster recovery of HMIs and failures when they happen in the plant, and as well as disaster recovery, whereas many years ago it was nearly impossible and very hard to justify duplicating the exact hardware and software instances that were available in a plant. But nowadays with virtualization and thin clients, common virtualization engines like Hyper-V and VMware, these instances are created in a very short order, and they're basically installed on any hardware. So we're seeing this right across the IT stack. We're seeing it from central engineering deploying advanced process control on virtualized environments, deploying this down to sites. We're seeing factory acceptance tests. The whole process of deploying automation is being simplified, and time is being reduced.
Okay, so given all of that activity, what are some of the operational and performance gains and savings that are occurring, that IT-based technologies are bringing to process applications?
Yeah, good question. I think that the real benefits are in the hands of the customers of the automation and IT professionals in the plants today. So we talked a little bit about mobility, and mobility is a big factor where virtualized and thin clients is now being delivered on mobile applications. So the customers of automation get to benefit here because of the speed of decision making. So workers are no longer limited by doing work in the plant now because of the internet and tablet devices, whether it be an iPad or an Android device. Now access to information in the plant can now take place anywhere. Remote and geographically dispersed assets also benefit from mobile devices. And plus the IT-based technologies are also bringing forward more advanced analytical tools. And these are tools with rich drill-down functionality, and new business processes are being created because of these technologies. So employees hired today also have got different expectations on technologies. So the newer workers entering the workforce that we call the millennials, this is the new digital generation. So the expectation is that this technology will be in place in order to support an operation.
Now, on the potential downside, some folks believe that IT-enabled devices are unilaterally taking over in many process applications and facilities, and this is a very dangerous situation. Is this true, and if so, what are the risks and maybe limits of virtualization, and how can they be addressed?
Well, good point, and it's important to do a proper risk assessment anytime there's any change with any facility. In heavy process industries like refineries and petrochemical plants, they tend to not be early adopters, but most of the sites that we've spoken to do have pretty solid risk assessment strategies where they can look at new technologies to determine what the change is and how well the workers are trained to use the new technology. But what we're really seeing is that the core of the automation and safety in a plant is still using technology that's very, very proprietary to a particular supplier. So we're not seeing complete virtualized or thin applications that would do real-time execution and safety. These things are still handled a little bit separate from that. So when it comes to designing a facility, still common methodologies are in place that would support making sure that the right layers of protection are in place. And all of the virtualization and the thin clients and the IT stuff, that would tend to be a decision support or optimization or employee enablement type devices. So we think that in terms of safety, that we're still seeing that plants are taken care of.
All right, so maybe what else do integrators and users have to consider when deciding whether to use like a thick client PC or a thin client workstation to serve on their plant floors, and how can they go about making the right choice?
Yeah, good question. We think the most important thing is to make sure a thorough application current state assessment is done. You not only do you have to understand what technology looks like in a plant, what your legacy application architecture looks like, what skills do I have on site to support any given technology, and do we have the right people? So whether you're an owner-operator or a system integrator or even a supplier doing this on behalf of an owner-operator, you really have to look at what that long-term mix is. How connected are the plans of the automation groups to the needs of the business? To the business stakeholders, are they included in the long-range plans? And what we do find is in some cases the end users don't spend enough time to pause and plan before jumping into the next automation project. So it's really important to engage the right experts to better understand what technology is available before moving too quickly.
Okay, even though there are some doubters, can virtualization can make it easier, faster, and less costly to maintain and replace computers and software, but how can the end users be convinced that this is really true?
Well, generally when it comes to plant floor technologies, most individuals at a facility, they feel as though their time is better spent optimizing facilities and working with operations and maintenance. What we're finding is the more that can be done to simplify and streamline and lessen the burden of the IT on the folks that are at the plant, the better off the situation will be. But what we do know is that the technologies that are coming out today, they really have an opportunity here to help turn up the clock speed for IT and automation, and that's delivering more applications to the business and improve the speed of decision making and improve safety. So we look at what virtualization really does is it really separates hardware and software and creates some independence. Applications nowadays, they can really run anywhere, on any glass. Operations can now have access to operating screens on any variety of mobile devices. And so we also know that it takes a lot less time to deploy a particular application. So a virtualized application can really be installed in a matter of minutes. It's not like a typical install that you would do 10 years ago, where software applications and drivers were layered in a more traditional manner. So nowadays what we're seeing is virtualization does something. It makes your applications portable. And the interesting thing about portable applications, running them on any glass or on any server, is these things are also moving outside of the plant. So what we're seeing is the emergence of cloud service providers like Microsoft are now hosting applications that would primarily be in the plant. So virtualization has really been a stepping stone to really deliver low-cost services. So what we're seeing is that when it comes to plant automation and applications in the factory, the automation service providers are actually truly providing services beyond installation of servers and hardware. This is applications that deliver value to the business are now running in a combination of both on-site servers and servers that are running in a private or a public cloud in a site like Microsoft.
All right. Well, Peter, as usual, those are some terrific insights. I think you really added some new dimensions to the issues we covered in our article. Thanks for talking to us again today.
Thanks very much, Jim.
Okay, this has been another in the monthly Control ARC podcast series. I'm Jim Montague. Thanks for listening.